Gentlemen, if you've noticed that your mornings feel empty, your energy fading, and your manhood no longer responds the way it used to, this message is for you. Because if your body no longer performs the way it once did, if you feel weak, slow, or disconnected from the man you were, it's not your fault. The real problem isn't your age, it's that your body is missing one simple thing you should be giving it every single morning. And once you do, everything, your energy, your strength, even your confidence can come roaring back in just days. I'm DrWilliamLi, a physician and research scientist with over 30 years of experience studying how the human body heals itself and how men over 50 can restore their vitality naturally. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s regain the kind of power and stamina they thought was gone forever without a single pill, injection, or dangerous stimulant. Most men believe losing energy and sexual function is a normal part of aging, but that's simply not true. Your body isn't shutting down, it's waiting to be nourished again. There's a powerful natural combination found right in your kitchen that can reopen your blood vessels, reignite testosterone production, and make you feel alive again. And the best part, you don't need to buy anything expensive, you just need to eat this every morning. So stay with me for the next few minutes because I'm going to show you exactly what to eat, how it works inside your body, and how countless men have reclaimed their strength and vitality with one simple morning habit. Before we begin, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another men's health tip designed especially for you. And if you find this message helpful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 and tell me how I can make the next one even better for you. Alright, gentlemen, now that you understand why this morning habit is so powerful, let's go deeper. Let's talk about what really happens inside your body after 60, why your strength, energy, and confidence start to fade, and how the right morning food can turn it all around. 1. The silent decline after 60. When I sit across from men in their 60s or 70s in my clinic, I see the same look almost every time. A quiet frustration, a resignation they haven't put into words yet. They tell me, "Doctor, I just don't feel like myself anymore." They still carry the desire, the drive, the ambition, but their bodies have stopped cooperating. The fire that once defined them as men has dimmed, and that realization cuts deeper than they'll ever admit out loud. I've had this conversation with thousands of men who quietly convinced themselves their best days were behind them. They wake up each morning slower, heavier, somehow less alive. The muscle they once built with pride has softened. Their energy is sluggish. Even a morning walk or an afternoon with their grandchildren starts to feel like more than they can manage. And in those private moments when no one is watching, they start to wonder if this is just what getting old looks like. But here's the truth, and I say this as a scientist who has spent decades studying the body's biological defense systems. This decline is not simply aging. It is your body signaling that something essential is missing. Your blood vessels lose elasticity, testosterone drops, cells stop converting fuel into energy efficiently. You are not broken, you are undernourished at the cellular level. The modern diet saturated with refined sugar, processed oils, and excessive caffeine steadily depletes your natural vitality rather than restoring it. After 60, every morning is a critical biological window. Each day, your body is ready to repair, rebuild, and grow stronger, but only if you give it the right raw materials. Most men start their day with coffee and toast, completely unaware they're skipping the one input their biology is most urgently calling for. I tell my patients this directly. Your body is like a precision engine that has been running for decades. It doesn't need replacement. It needs the right fuel. And the good news is your biology can recover faster than you think. I've watched men who felt completely hollowed out reclaim their drive within weeks. Their posture improves. Their energy returns. That unmistakable masculine confidence slowly comes back into their eyes. All because they changed one thing about how they started their mornings. There is a natural combination that ancient civilizations depended on for centuries to maintain strength, energy, and vitality well into old age. It isn't a pill. It isn't a supplement. It costs almost nothing, and right now it's probably sitting in your kitchen. Once you start your day with it, you'll understand why men in their 70s can feel the way they did at 40. 2. The ancient morning duo, turmeric and honey. I still remember the first time I shared this with one of my patients, a man named Robert, 71 years old, who walked into my office looking completely worn down. He sat across from me and said, "Doctor, I've tried everything. Pills, tonics, energy drinks, nothing works anymore." His voice carried the weight of a man who had stopped believing things could change. I leaned forward and told him plainly, "Robert, you don't need another pill. What you need is already in your kitchen." He gave me the skeptical half smile. The one men give when they want to believe, but don't quite trust themselves to, and I respect that reaction. Simple solutions are hard to accept when complicated ones have already failed you. But what I shared with Robert wasn't guesswork. It was rooted in centuries of traditional medicine and backed by a growing body of modern scientific research: turmeric and honey. Two ingredients so ordinary that most men walk right past them. Yet when combined correctly, they create something extraordinary inside the male body. Turmeric, the golden spice, is one of nature's most potent biological repair agents. It cleans the blood, reduces systemic inflammation, and strengthens your cardiovascular system from within. Honey, raw, unprocessed honey, is nature's living fuel. It delivers trace minerals and bioactive compounds that directly support testosterone production, stabilize blood sugar, and sustain energy across the entire day. When you bring these two together, the results are synergistic. Turmeric clears and opens the blood vessels, establishing a stronger channel for circulation. Honey then feeds that system with the hormonal and metabolic support it needs to operate at full capacity. I've seen men who couldn't get through a flight of stairs without losing their breath recovered genuine stamina after just 2 weeks, and the effects extend well beyond energy. Men notice improvements in mood, mental sharpness, and in the most intimate areas of their lives. Robert followed the protocol exactly. 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder mixed with 2 tablespoons of raw honey every morning before breakfast. 2 weeks later, he called me. I could hear the difference in his voice before he'd finished his first sentence. "Doctor," he said, "I feel like a man again." My wife doesn't know what happened to me, but she's not complaining. 3. The science behind turmeric. When I explain turmeric to my patients, I describe it as the body's quiet repair crew. You don't see it working, but it is systematically addressing damage that has been accumulating for years. And from a scientific standpoint, the mechanisms are genuinely impressive. Turmeric's primary active compound is curcumin, a natural polyphenol with powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties studied by researchers worldwide, specifically in relation to cardiovascular health, hormonal function, and cellular aging. Here is what is happening inside your body. When you are young, your blood vessels are soft, flexible, and responsive, able to carry blood efficiently to every organ, muscle, and tissue. That is why erections, energy, and physical recovery all come naturally. But as you age, chronic inflammation begins to stiffen and narrow those vessels. Arterial plaque builds up, blood flow weakens, the body's systems start to lose their power. Curcumin acts directly on this problem. It reduces vascular inflammation, clears the pathways for circulation, and allows oxygen-rich blood to move freely throughout your entire body, including the organs most critical to male performance. When circulation improves, your heart works more efficiently. Your brain functions more clearly, and men consistently report that their erections become firmer and more reliable. Not from any chemical override, but because blood is finally moving the way it was always designed to. Beyond circulation, turmeric supports prostate health, helps reduce LDL cholesterol, and assists liver function, all essential for maintaining hormonal balance. I had a patient named George who told me after 3 weeks I didn't even know how much pain and stiffness I was carrying until it was gone. He described it as a mental fog lifting, a clarity returning he hadn't experienced in years. That's the thing about healing from the inside out. It doesn't just fix one part of your body, it restores the whole system. What I find most remarkable about turmeric scientifically is how intelligently it interacts with the body. Unlike synthetic drugs that force the body in a single direction, curcumin modulates. It works with your physiology rather than against it. If blood pressure is elevated, it helps bring it down. If blood sugar is unstable, it helps normalize it. It doesn't bulldoze your system, it recalibrates it. That is why I call it nature's equalizer. And the truth is, your body was designed to heal itself. You just need to give it the right tools to do that work. Turmeric is one of those tools, but it performs best with the right partner beside it. Let me introduce you to that partner now because without it, you're only getting half the equation. 4. The power of raw honey. When men think of honey, most picture a simple sweetener, but raw unprocessed honey is one of the most medically significant foods available. And for men over 60, it may be one of the most important things you are not eating. I had a patient named Frank, a retired firefighter in his late 60s who came in looking hollowed out. He said, "Doc, I'm running on fumes. There's nothing left." He was drinking 4 cups of coffee a day just to function. His testosterone had bottomed out and his afternoon energy crashes were becoming debilitating. I told him directly, "Frank, caffeine is not fuel. It is borrowed energy your body has to pay back with interest. What you need is real biological fuel. That is exactly what raw honey provides. Unlike processed sugar, raw honey is a living substance packed with enzymes, trace minerals, and bioactive compounds your body can actually absorb and use. 2 of the most important are boron and zinc, both directly linked to testosterone synthesis. As testosterone rises, so does energy, motivation, muscle tone, drive, and sexual performance. Honey also naturally stimulates nitric oxide production, a compound that causes blood vessels to relax and expand. This is the same physiological mechanism many erectile dysfunction medications target. The difference is that honey activates this process gently, naturally, and without side effects. When blood flows freely, your heart works more powerfully. Your mind sharpens and performance improves the way nature intended. One critical point: most honey on grocery shelves is not real honey. It has been heated, filtered, and stripped of nutrients. True raw honey is dense and thick, slightly tangy in flavor, and crystallizes over time. When I tell patients to use only raw unfiltered honey, I'm not being particular. I'm protecting the entire value of what we're building. Frank called me 3 weeks later. "Doc," he said, "I started walking again. I'm sleeping through the night. My wife keeps asking what I've changed." I gave him the simple answer, just turmeric and honey every morning. 5. The synergy, how they work together. The first time I fully understood the combined effect of turmeric and honey used consistently, I recognized it wasn't just nutrition. It was a systematic biological restoration. I remember Walter, 70 years old, who had tried the full circuit. Testosterone boosters, prescription aids, expensive supplements. He sat in my office and said flatly, "I'm done chasing fixes, doctor. Nothing lasts." I told him directly, "Walter, nothing has lasted because you've been trying to force your body to perform rather than restoring the conditions it needs to perform naturally. That changes today. Turmeric and honey don't override your biology, they restore it. Here is the mechanics. Turmeric opens the road. It reduces inflammation in the arterial walls, relaxes blood vessels, and allows oxygen-rich blood to circulate freely, especially to the cardiovascular and reproductive systems that define male vitality. Honey fuels the engine. It delivers the minerals and bioactive compounds your body needs to produce testosterone, sustain cellular energy, and maintain mental clarity from morning through evening. One builds the infrastructure, the other drives traffic through it. Together, the output is greater than either produces alone. The results I have observed in men who stayed consistent are significant. Energy in the morning that lasts through the day, mental focus returning by midday, a steady rebuilding of motivation and masculine confidence that these men had quietly accepted as gone. And in their personal lives, a reconnection with their partners that many have described as life-changing. One man in his late 60s told me, half laughing, "Doc, I think my wife is more impressed than I am." Those are the moments that matter most in this work, when a man feels whole again, not just physically, but in his core sense of self. What makes this combination uniquely effective is that it addresses both foundational pillars of male vitality simultaneously: cardiovascular health and hormonal balance. Most approaches target one or the other. This targets both at once. And because the two compounds work synergistically, the result is multiplicative. Men who maintain this morning ritual consistently report sleeping more deeply, moving with greater ease, mood stabilizing, and relationships improving. They stop dreading mornings and start anticipating them. 6. How to prepare it. When men first hear my recommendation, the reaction is almost always the same skeptical look and the same question. "That's really it, doctor. Just 2 ingredients." And my answer is always yes. Healing is often simpler than we've been led to believe. The complexity sold to us in prescription bottles is rarely necessary when the body already knows how to heal. It just needs the right raw materials. Each morning, before you eat anything, take 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder and combine it with 2 tablespoons of raw unfiltered honey. Mix them in a small bowl until they form a smooth golden paste. Take it directly off the spoon. That is how I recommend it. Or dissolve it into a cup of warm water, not hot. Excessive heat destroys honey's natural enzymes and eliminates the benefits we are after. Warm is sufficient. Take it before breakfast. That timing matters. In the morning, your body's testosterone is naturally at its daily peak. Your metabolism is fully engaged and your cells are most ready to absorb nutrients. This is your biological window, and this is when the combination works with maximum efficiency. If you are just beginning, start with half a teaspoon of turmeric for the first week. Give your system time to adapt. After 7 days, move to the full dose. Some of my patients eventually take a second serving in the evening, but always master the morning ritual first. That is where the foundation is built. The most important thing I can tell you, consistency outweighs everything else. 1 morning changes nothing. 30 consecutive mornings changes everything. This is a daily investment in your body's recovery and long-term performance. The men who see results are the men who show up every morning with discipline, regardless of how they feel. One of my patients, Henry 68, told me, "Doctor, I've never been a morning person, but now I actually look forward to getting up." That kind of shift is the real result, a changed relationship with your own body and your day. 7 real-life transformations over more than 3 decades in medicine. I have witnessed transformations that remind me again and again why this work matters. Michael was 66, a former teacher who came in looking deflated. He sat across from me and said quietly, "Doctor, I'm not the man I used to be. I feel empty inside." His blood pressure was elevated, his energy minimal, his confidence slowly eroded. I told him what I tell every man in that chair. Give your body what it needs consistently, and it will remember how to be strong. 2 weeks into the morning protocol, Michael emailed me. The subject line read simply, "It's working." His energy had returned, his sleep improved dramatically, and he was waking up with clarity and drive he hadn't felt in years. His wife told him, "You're smiling again." As a physician, there is no better result to read. Then there was Arthur, 73, a retired mechanic who joked that he felt like one of the old cars he used to fix, worn out and running rough. After a month on the protocol, he walked back into my clinic looking like a different man. He sat down, grinned, and said, "Doc, the engine's running again." His circulation had improved markedly. His stamina returned, and his marriage felt alive in a way it hadn't for years. I have heard hundreds of stories like these. Men who had accepted that age had taken what it was going to take, only to discover their bodies were simply waiting for the right conditions to recover. Some felt the shift in days, others took weeks, but all described the same experience, a quiet, steady, unmistakable return of power, physical, emotional, and masculine. 8. What happens inside your body when this golden tonic becomes a consistent part of your morning? Something remarkable unfolds beneath the surface quietly, systematically, and with compounding momentum that builds every week. At first, the changes are subtle. You wake up more alert. The afternoon crash that had become routine starts to flatten. Your joints feel less stiff. You feel more present, more engaged, but at the cellular level, the repair is comprehensive. Curcumin from turmeric is actively clearing your blood vessels, reducing the chronic inflammation that has been restricting blood flow to your heart, brain, and reproductive organs. This is why men report improvements in erectile function. Not from a chemical override, but from genuinely restored circulation. The way your body was always designed to work. Meanwhile, boron and zinc from raw honey support the hormonal cascade that produces testosterone. As testosterone rises, everything tied to masculine vitality rises with it. Energy, drive, muscle tone, mood, and mental sharpness. Better circulation to the brain means more oxygen, sharper focus, and faster processing. By week 2, most men report waking with real vitality. By week 3, mental sharpness becomes consistent. Sleep deepens, creating a recovery cycle that compounds every subsequent day. The longer you stay consistent, the more completely your body's systems realign, working in coordination the way they were engineered to. I had a patient named George, 71, who came to me after months of broken sleep and near zero daily function. "Doc, I feel half alive." 3 weeks later, he walked in standing taller, expression calm and clear. He looked at me and said, "Something woke up inside me that I thought was gone for good. That is the body doing exactly what it was built to do, when finally given the fuel it has been asking for." 9. The truth about aging and masculinity. I have spent more than 30 years treating men who were handed a dangerous and disempowering belief that aging means inevitable loss. That strength, drive, and masculine vitality are things you borrow in your youth and surrender as the years pass. That the decline is simply the price of survival. I reject that categorically, and the science rejects it too. Your body was not designed to surrender. It was designed to adapt, recover, and rebuild at any age when given the right conditions. The men who age with genuine vitality are not the lucky ones. They are the consistent ones, the intentional ones. The men who decided their body was worth investing in every single morning, regardless of what the calendar says. The morning ritual I have walked you through today is not complicated. It requires no prescription, no specialist, no radical overhaul of your life. It requires only a daily decision to show up for your own body with the same discipline and resolve that made you a man in the first place. You are not too old. You are not too far gone. It is never too late to begin again. 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 2 tablespoons of raw honey every morning before breakfast. That is where your comeback begins. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start tomorrow morning. Mix those 2 ingredients. Take a breath and give your body the signal it has been waiting for. The signal that says you are done accepting less than what you are capable of. Your energy, your strength, your passion, your masculinity, none of it is gone. It is simply waiting for you to show up for it. I'm Dr. William Li, and I have seen with my own eyes across decades of clinical practice and scientific research exactly what the human body is capable of when it is finally given what it needs. Now it is your turn. It is